Well, the new film is bringing a classic tale to life.
Let's see how this baby works in the real world.
Whoa is right. Harold and the Purple Crayon is the first film adaptation of the children's book of the same name that's been entertaining young readers for decades. We are teaming up with our friends at Sony Pictures Canada to learn more about the new movie, and to give us the scoop is Rad. He's here with us in studio. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So I love this story. I love the concept of it. I loved the book. I'm really excited for the movie. Can you tell us a little bit about the book that the film's based on?
Yeah, I mean, the book is about a little babushka named Harold who has a magic purple crayon, and he creates his own world. And, you know, like in the book, when he wants to see a moon, he draws a moon. When he's falling from the sky, he draws himself a hot air balloon to rescue himself. And, you know, when he draws too many pies at his picnic, he draws himself a moose and a porcupine friend to help him finish off the pies, right? And what's really interesting about that book is, like, you know, it's very kind of instructive in a Mr. Dress-Up kind of way, like, you know, kind of simplifying the drawing process for the little kids that are reading it, you know, inviting them into the process of kind of creating their own worlds. I mean, and what's interesting is it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall, or kind of meta in the sense where, you know, it's a picture book that is, you know, creating itself as it goes along, as Harold's drawing, right? So really inviting kids into that process is magical. And of course, a huge phenomenon. You know, the book, you know, it began a series of books. It ends up on Captain Kangaroo, and then of course now we have this first movie.
Okay, and we've all got to go see the movie. So we're going to put up a QR code on the screen right now, so you can scan it. It'll take you to a link right away to buy your tickets. We haven't had a chance to see it yet. So what do we know about this story, and what can audiences expect?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the story, like, well, the book is just kind of the starting point for the story, right? Because in the movie, you know, Harold is actually grown up now, but it's still in a onesie though, right? So, and he draws himself a door into our world. So he kind of like pulls an Enchanted sort of thing, right? Where he's in a classic fish out of water scenario, and he brings along his friends Moose and Porcupine, who, you know, take on human form in our world, right? And basically they unleash their chaotic energy and their purple crayon magic, bring that into the life of a young child. And meanwhile, they're also having to deal with this kind of disgruntled librarian author person who wants the magic crayon to go all evil wizard, right? And what's really interesting, though, is, like, you know, in the same way that Harold is going from the world of animation into kind of the real world, the director of this movie is kind of going from the world of animation into live action, because the director is Carlos Saldana, who made the Ice Age movies, the Rio movies, Ferdinand, and so now he's bringing that kind of animation, all those animation techniques, into live action. So I think it's interesting that their journeys are paralleled in that way.
Those three movies are so fun that you just listed, so this will be fun too. There are such big names in this cast. Tell us who is in the movie.
I mean, look, like, the movie stars Zachary Levi, who is, I think, just an obvious choice to play Harold. I mean, if you've seen Zachary Levi in Shazam, where he plays a child who morphs, you know, kind of transforms into a manly superhero, but still with that, like, man-child attitude, man-child in the best ways, you know, because he's so good at kind of playing the innocence and the wonder and the kind of juvenile, rascally excitement, you know. And I've only seen really, like, Will Ferrell and Tom Hanks and Big really pull that off. And, you know, with him, you also have someone who I love, adore, Zooey Deschanel. You know, she's here playing the mom who invites Harold to come to her job with her, to gets him a job at this department store where all this chaos kind of happens. And, you know, where have you seen Zooey Deschanel in this before, right? Zooey Deschanel as a person who works in a department store, who is tasked with helping a magical grown man-child from an imaginary universe adapt to our world. Do you remember?
Yeah, Elf.
Elf, there you go. Classic Elf, yeah. So, and so alongside them, you also have Little Ray Howery playing Moose, who I think is an interesting choice also because, you know, you've seen him in Get Out, you've seen him in Bad Trip, you've seen him in Free Guy, and he's always kind of playing the voice of reason, trying to keep people in check, and so he's bringing that energy here.
This is awesome, Rad. I'm super excited for it. I read once that creativity is intelligence having fun, and I feel like this movie is amplifying that.
I hope so.
I hope so. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, Harold and the Purple Crayon is playing exclusively in theaters.
Whatever I draw comes to life.
Your morning is brought to you in part by Harold and the Purple Crayon, now playing.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.